Okay, this is just a taste. I'm not entirely sure whether this will actually happen. If you're all wondering why I'm sitting with my face inside the cam, it's because that's where my mic's located. I have a very soft voice, so it's strong possibility that this video will be very soft. Okay, well, I have to speak about something. So let's talk about 2011. Things are gonna get very, very bad. But for a short while, for a few months, most people will actually tell all the truth is that everything is fine now and nothing is wrong. Because everything will appear to be fine, and people have a very short memory. They they can only remember what happened yesterday. Anything that has happened a while back, they forget. And then we're gonna later in the year. Well, the first thing that will happen is all the snow will melt. I was listening to Scott, Believers Underground, on radio the other day, and he had a guest from Canada. And he was talking about how it used to be like minus 40, and now it never gets that cold. And I just happened to have watched the weather, and I saw they were minus 20. So although everybody else is freezing, up north, the climate is still a lot warmer than what it used to be. Well, I don't know how many people actually followed the link to the climate change article, but it states that it's only the Arctic air that's moving down and cooling the place off. But the thing is, it's leaving the area where it is, so it isn't really cooling. It's only the poles are heating up. And what at the moment, because all of this fresh water has been removed, the ocean currents will appear to become normal again, which is only, it's almost like if nature is trying to trick us. It's almost like a nasty trick being played on us, make it look like everything is going normal. We had this big quake at Argentina, probably just a slip of magnitude 7, that should put us all on alert, but that's only a little alert. The thing that worries me the most, excluding for the American economy, let's go to the American economy for now. There's quite a few people that believe that there will be a police state in the US. And if that would happen, the best period in which they will be able to move over to a police state is when they start exercising, um, when they start firing government people, cut school spending and stuff within the states. The states themselves are broke. They are all broke, most of them. There's one or two that's not that serious, but most of them are in a lot of trouble. And we all saw in Europe when they started cutting government funding, cutting education, cutting all the basic needs. We saw how the people when started to rampage. Now, there's a lot of anger in the US. It, or so it appears. And if they do that there, you will have people running amok. And that, if there is a foreseeable police state, that is most probably the period in which that would take place. Because then the government has an excuse to send out police and troops to control the masses. Okay, but now the thing that worries me the most about climate at this stage is the South Pole was relatively calm. There was melting, but it wasn't that bad. And Antarctica is a very, very important landmass. Number one, it's because it sits. We are talking about police states. Bavarian rebellion, Bavarian rebellion has a new radio station called Police State. And if you haven't checked them out, go to his channel and check it out and get the information from when you'll be able to watch his channel. I personally like the guy. I think he's a really cool guy, and he has a lot of talent. He's loaded with talent. Anyway, getting back to the point. Now, it appears to me when I look at all the figures and stats and stuff that it's gonna start warming again in the south in the second half of 2011. Of course, it will still be summer up north, so they'll feel the heat as well. But the really big heat will hit the south. Sorry. The reason why I say this is because solar cycle 24 it's still building, and they expect it to build all the way up to March in 2013. So there's still a lot going to happen there. So we all know that's heating. They try to tell us that it doesn't have an impact on the weather and it's always the same, and the output of the sun remains the same all the time. Well, lately, when they studied the reflection of the sunlight from the moon, they did detect that the output of the sun doesn't remain the same. So someone is lying to us. But you can also see it on the climate chart. They were trying to cover their tracks. Let's be honest. And I think there's a lot of people, scientists, that wants to prove their theory is correct. And in order to prove their theory is correct, they have to prove everybody else wrong. And I think there's a lot of dishonest people, and some of them are lying through their teeth. Anyway, getting back to the south. This heat, it will start to melt that South Pole a little bit faster than we have seen recently. And the Antarctic is very important because it's like a big plug. Um, if you know close glacial rebound, if you don't, just go to Believers Underground. It's weight. The snow is weight on a land mass. So it's basically pushing in on the earth. And you have all these cracks and stuff around it. Now that gives you one scenario of how everything goes. If that thing melts and it starts to lose weight, it will start to go up. Okay, it also adds fresh water to the ocean, which screws up the current. But not just that, when that thing melts and starts to move up, it changes every single dynamic on this planet. Because when it moves up, all the other fault lines also move, and they all have to readjust. And that can only lead to disaster, really big disaster. And the thing is, I foresee that the heating isn't going to stop in December 2011. As we go into 2012 and we move on, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Okay, I'm not so sure about the second half of the year, but the first half of the year is going to be a doozy. In 2012, the first part is going to be a doozy. I'm telling you now. And you have to take precautions. Look, if nothing happens, nothing happens. You're not going to lose anything. But take a few precautions. Have a survival pack. You don't have to build underground shelters or anything. Just have a survival pack. Or plant some edible weeds and edible plants in your area in your garden. No, just to let it grow there for in case something happens. You don't have to eat it. You can choose ones that there's quite a few edible flowers. Just do a search on Google or Yahoo or whatever you use, and you can plant the flowers. So they look pretty, and no one actually knows that you can eat it until the point comes when you have to eat it and you tell them, okay, people, we're all starving. You see that flower bed? Have lunch. Now, it's just little things like that. Um, well, this is quite a long taste. If this doesn't work, I wasted 10 minutes and 45 seconds. Thank you for listening.